So, guys, have you seen everything with the Odyssey? Right? The Odyssey. Now, for a lot of you guys, maybe you don't know, my name is Danny. I spent 20 years in Los Angeles. I just left. I spent a year and a half getting out. I sold my business. I'm an award-winning screenwriter. I've written, I think I am the most winning screenwriter in the film festival circuit. I've won some of the largest film festivals in the world for best screenplay, best script, best webisodes, all of that kind of stuff. I've never sold one of my scripts, a screenplay, never have. So I own them all. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. And so when I left Los Angeles, a part of the whole plan was to go online with everything I love about science, and of course my other channel, Poprageous, which I love pop culture, and do this from a streaming perspective. So Dimension Zero is kicking ass. Thank you, and thank you everyone that supports the channel. Who is subscribed and on all of the social media. So here's the thing. I don't care about the studio system in Hollywood. I don't care about it. There was a time where a lot of people wouldn't want to say anything bad about the studio system in Hollywood. Now, you can thank guys like Alex Kurtzman, right? You know Alex Kurtzman? How's Star Trek doing? How is Star Trek doing? Okay, I had to check on. How is Star Trek doing? Thanks, Alex Kurtzman. Not very good, eh? How about some of that Section 31? How about a little bit of that Starfleet Academy? Season 2 is coming up. We are going to cover it here on Dimension Zero. We are going to cover Starfleet Academy Season 2. So don't you worry. We might even do some watch parties. So whether you're on Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Rumble, where else are we? Twitch? I think we're broadcasting to Twitch. We're everywhere, baby. We're gonna. I don't think. It's like I've always said. Today, guys. The Warner acquisition. Paramount purchasing Warner, and I have maintained. I worked in the stock market for 10 years as a market maker and economic analyst. I was a market maker on NYSE and Nasdaq. And I have maintained that this is going to be. I don't care what the federal government says. Who do you got to be concerned of? It's California. Now, 12 states came out today. 12 states are suing to block the acquisition, and you knew that was going to happen. And if the EU says no, it doesn't happen, okay? It does not happen. And I have said from day one, the way that this is probably going to happen, it's going to be the divestiture of some assets, because there's a lot of juicy goods in there, right? There's a lot of Warner's got some juicy, right? They got juicy assets, guys. I think I could say that without getting in trouble. Warner has some juicy assets. I can say that. Well, I did anyway. So there's a very big chance, and you know what? I didn't even check the stock price. Paramount, it's trading at a huge discount to the acquisition value, which is $31.50. I'll just check it on CNBC. Paramount. Singapore's economy expands 5.7%. Paramount. Oh, sorry. I want to check Warner. Warner. $27. So it is a stock trading at $27 at an acquisition price of $31.50. That is not a very confident. That's not a very confident. If the market knew that was going to go through, Warner stock will be trading at $31.12. Right? There's a very big chunk in there that's saying this thing might not go through. And if you ask me what's best for Sci-Fi, what's best for you and me? What's best for the fan, the audience? It's not centralization, my friends. Nothing good happens from centralization. If you ask me, every big tech company should not be allowed to acquire other companies. They've gotten so big, trillions of dollars. Now, that's an economic channel. I might start that channel too. But anyway, so when it comes to sci-fi, so Star Trek is owned by Paramount, right? It's in the dumps. And I've maintained that Alex Kurtzman is done. He's gone. I've also said that with James Gunn. Supergirl had to perform. The fact that it didn't perform, who does? That's Supergirl is the same damn character as Superman. This is a guy who knows nothing about what he's doing. James Gunn. And I'm not here to kick people around. It's not my style. But when you say that script was that good, as a screenwriter, I'm like, dude, if you seriously think that, you know nothing about screenwriting. Like, seriously, you know nothing. Mr. Gunn, James Gunn, Mr. Safran over there in DC. If DC was trading as its own separate stock, it would be cratering, going on to penny stock value for next year. It would be. That's how bad everything is. But the Odyssey, I was only going to do a half-hour show. I don't want to do too much. This is a daily dose. I'm going to be doing a lot of these. It's going to be like just once in a while I pop on. So if you get the notification, come on and spend 30 minutes with me. But the Odyssey comes out this week, guys. I have maintained since day 2. Let me explain that. Since day 2, Christopher Nolan was not the right guy for this movie. On the first day of the announcement, I thought, okay, you know what? Being a man of history, I took antiquity in university. I thought, now I will debate anybody. Dark Knight, not Dark Knight Rises, which most people will agree was a garbage movie. The Dark Knight is a garbage, crap-ass script. The Dark Knight, the middle one with Heath Ledger. That script is utter freaking garbage. Garbage. Trash. Shite. Nolan must have pooped that script out because that is one of the worst scripts ever written. Now, I know some of you are going, but that was such a good movie. It made so much money. Do not confuse a good script with spectacle. Spectacle. And I will debate anybody. John Truby over there in Los Angeles, who's supposed to be a script master. Hey, buddy, you want to go a couple hours with me, one-on-one, scene by scene with The Dark Knight, and I will show people what kind of script writing garbage that is. Garbage. Not to mention The Dark Knight Rises, not to mention Tenet, not to mention a whole bunch of movies that Christopher Nolan he is great at spectacle. He is not a good screenwriter, my friends. He is not a good screenwriter. And I will go one-on-one with anybody. As a screenwriter myself, bring it on. Bring it on. And if you don't think The Dark Knight is as bad as I'm saying it is, watch it and pay attention to what happens. Watch the first scene. Holy shit. The Dark Knight is such garbage. If it wasn't for Heath Ledger, did you see the fight scenes? Now, I was also a kickboxer for 8 years. I have never seen fight scenes as bad as they are in a Christopher Nolan movie. You want to see good freaking fight scenes, buddy? You want to see good fight scenes? You look at it now. Rebel Moon aside, you look at Zack Snyder, Ben Affleck. That fight scene when he goes to say Martha, who's Martha? The first fight scene of The Watchmen, the movie The Watchmen, with the comedian. The worst fight scenes you will ever see are at the hands of Christopher Nolan. He's good at spectacle, guys. And so when it comes, so bring this back to the Odyssey. The Odyssey is a huge tale. I didn't like Dunkirk. I found Dunkirk quite boring. Was it interesting? It was interesting. Really? Really? This is really? Tenet? Really? Really? Inception was so funny that South Park actually had to do a episode about it. South Park had to do an episode about. Remember? Did you guys see the South Park episode? Now, that's the point. Christopher Nolan. Spectacle. He moves it along so fast. So the scene transitions when you're like processing it. It's like, wait a second. Wasn't that stupid? The opening scene to Dark Knight Rises. Oh my God. Blood transfusions and freaking airplanes. How stupid is everyone? Apparently the audience is stupider than anyone ever thought. Okay. All right. Crank is, I look to my right as a Crank is launching Vipers. All right. Launch them Mark 7s, I hope. Are we, Crank? Are we launching the Mark 7s? And so with the Odyssey, it's a $250 million movie. 150 million marketing on the low side. This thing is going to push $500 million on costs. You could call it $900 million at the box office to break even after the 50-50 split, right? With the theaters get half, right? The theaters get half. Now I haven't seen the movie, so obviously, but from what now, there's all this talk about Helen of Troy, and the one thing that no one talks about on the Helen of Troy, who was Helen of Troy's father? Does anyone know, Crank? You gotta know who Helen of Troy's father was. Not her stepfather, her real father, Zeus. King of the gods, Zeus, was Helen of Troy's father. Can I get a hell yeah for that? Give me something. Zeus was Helen of Troy's papa, daddy. Helen of Troy had daddy issues. Apparently, so does Tom Holland. Wait till my dad gets home. My dad is tougher than your dad. Okay. Oh, jeez. Oh my God. Is this Spider-Man? That's not going to help the Spider-Man cause. My daddy's coming home. I remember the first time I heard that in the trailer, I was like, what? As a screenwriter, I'd be like, I would never use, first off, it would all be British voices. Unbelievable that it's an American accent, right? It would all be British voices. Not to mention, basically 90% of everyone's got a British accent that's in that movie. Do you know what? There's more Colombians. There's one Colombian in the movie, and there's how many? 0 Greeks. Yes, 0 Greeks. John Leguizamo, who was always bitching about, well, you know what? Only Latinos should play Latinos. Well, apparently Latinos can play Greeks, mofo. It's okay. Latinos can play Greeks. You Greeks, shut the frick up. Or Crank, can I use Battlestar Galactica? Shut the frack up. From now on, I'm gonna use frack. Whenever I feel like using the F-bomb, I'm gonna frack. Because we are sci-fi. We are sci-fi fantasy, my friends. So Helen of Troy, right? I guarantee you, having been in Hollywood, the meetings happened, right? They sit around the table. Everyone's sitting around the table thinking, okay, if we do Lupita, if we do this, I mean, daddy is Zeus. And then her stepfather was the king of Sparta. I forgot his name, Lee. And then same with, she was basically the daughter of, so Zeus came dressed up as a swan or something like that, right? Like if my wife was like, you slept with Zeus? Well, I couldn't help it. He came as a swan, a beautiful swan. Are you kidding me? Was it the long neck that got it? Like what got you so, jiggered up that
Everybody, hey, baby.
yeah, fucking trying to tell the wife to behave. Okay, so you slept with Zeus. Fine, he's the king of gods. It can't be cheating if you're sleeping around with the king of gods. It can't be. It can't be cheating. Nobody, nobody's cheating. Nobody when you're. If I was the king of gods, and I'm not. Let me just have a quick beverage here. I see my my idea for a half-hour show is already in the dumps. But anyway, I don't need to, because we're going to talk about this on Wednesday. That's the point. I don't want to, take all the choo-choo out of the caboose for the Wednesday. Wednesday at 7:00, Dimension Zero. We're live everywhere, baby. We're live everywhere. So the Odyssey, and you got to think, what's his name? Elliot Page. What's her name? What's his name? What do I do? What do I call? Playing a warrior. What's his name? Oh, I forgot. Sin. I forgot the name. Like if I was casting, I'd kind of look like I'd look at the movie Troy, then I'd look at 300. It's kind of like what I would go at, right? I would look for Odysseus. Odysseus would be kind of like, okay, who's the Gerard Butler of today, right? Who's the Gerard Butler of today? That's Odysseus. I don't think it's Matt Damon. As a matter of fact, if Gerard Butler, who was, I think, 6 or 7 years older than Damon, if he would have said yes to playing Odysseus, I would have been down for Gerard Butler. Like, get in there, buddy. Do the weights. Like hot in here. It's summertime. You got to do the weights, bro. And Gerard Butler would have, right? I don't know. Anyway, so really, now you know that there is, when you're having been in Hollywood, meetings happen. They talk about the permutations of everything that might occur. Of course they had, and they have a strategy. They discuss it. They know, okay, we're going to go with it. We're going to announce it. And they go with it. They're ready. They know the controversy, and they're probably licking their. Now, I think this is going to cause irreparable harm to Nolan, and it already has. I'm not a fortune teller, but this doesn't really require someone with super duper, I do not possess any mental abilities that you do not possess. And that kind of goes with the entire human race, right? But anyway, the Odyssey, it's coming this week, guys. We're going to talk about it more on Wednesday. It's up to you whether you think it's a bad thing or a good thing, or you're indifferent. And until we see the movie, it might not even matter. Crank, sorry, I'm in love with the Mark IIs, especially the ones in blood and chrome. They look more robust. They do look robust. They have the classic style. They have the right. It's they got the classic styling. I don't disagree, my friend. I don't disagree. Zeus. Yes, it's spelled perfectly correct. 4 letters. It's a pretty hard. U. There's no I before E except after C with you, right? It's just like E before U and Zeus. I was gonna say that's how simple that goes. So we're gonna talk more about the Odyssey on Wednesday. Supergirl, guys, have you seen the Supergirl numbers? Just to finish off with the DC universe, James Gunn is done. The fact that Superman 2025 was a terrible movie. Terrible movie. Another terrible movie. Terrible. Supergirl was even more terrible. Holy cow. I like James Gunn, like some of the stuff you're talking about just proves you have no idea. If you hire a screenwriter. Oh, 1980s, yeah. The old Vipers. The older Vipers, the 1980 ones. 1978, actually. right? 1978. I remember. It was 78. I was like, what, 10, 11 years old when that came out. And I remember it. I mean, I thought Apollo and Starbuck were so cool. So when Starbuck became a girl, I was kind of like, what? What? Katie Sackhoff did pretty good, right? Katie Sackhoff did pretty good. Pretty good. Very good. Very good. Trisha Helfner, Grace Park, what's his name? James. I always forget his name. Odama. The actor played Odama. Fantastic, right? Fantastic. But Supergirl, James Gunn is done. There's no way. Look, just the very decision. I remember when he announced Supergirl. You're literally doing the same character back to back. The logic to me escapes me. Then you hire a screenwriter that doesn't know how to screen or anything about storytelling. She didn't go to university and take creative writing. She hasn't taken any, like, she's a failed actress. And you hired, out of all the screenwriters, you hired her? Okay, James. You are smart, James Gunn. You are a smart man. You should be running a studio. Not to be mean, but holy frack. You and Safran, like, wow. If that was my company and I owned it, believe me, you'd be gone already. You'd be like, don't worry, I'll finish up here. I got a broom. I'll sweep up this garbage that you've made here. Now, granted, he came in with a lot of garbage, right? He did, right? Blue Beetle, Flash, and all the, Aquaman. Oh my God, that second Aquaman was so bad, right? But anyway, so we'll touch on Supergirl a little bit on Wednesday, and Stargate, guys. Stargate. I just released a video. It's it's everywhere. TikTok, YouTube, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram. I love Stargate, guys. One of my favorites. If you go watch the video, if you're on Facebook, just scroll down a little bit. I think it's the 4th or 5th video. I always cut up and make shorts of the It's a 6-minute video. If you're on YouTube, it's in there. And of course, TikTok. I think TikTok has got like almost 100,000 views or something like that. Stargate Universe. Granted, I didn't like the Mind Stones, right? I didn't like the Mind Stones in Stargate Universe. But I'll tell you, conceptually, as a screenwriter, I always look for amazing ideas that I wish I would have written. And Stargate Universe is easily one of those ideas. I remember the first time, did you guys, for any Stargate Universe fan, do you remember the first time you saw Destiny? The first time you saw Destiny go into the photosphere, into the atmosphere of a star. I remember I was like, what the hell? Wait a sec. Are you kidding me? Because there's a part of the photosphere that is like, I think it's like 1,000,000 degrees, right? And then the part probably where Destiny skims is about 5,000-6,000 degrees Celsius, based on a yellow star like our sun. And to watch it, so you got to think, obviously, the ancients. Now we're going in sci-fi lore, right? If I got my science hat on, Danny, astrophysicist. I'd be saying, look, okay, you know what? This is going to be a hard thing to have my storytelling hat on, or my screenwriter hat on, I guess. You would have to, you kind of get into this idea that the ancients, they ascended to pure energy. They're a type 4 civilization. Some people argue they're a type 5 Kardashev civilization. They figured out 0-point energy, so they tapped the energy of the fabric of space-time, which is basically beyond us because it breaks the laws of physics, right? It breaks the laws of physics. It's like it's like inertial dampeners. Oh no 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 no! You cannot have the inertial dampener. No no no! It breaks the laws of physics, my friend. If Sir Isaac Newton was here and he heard the idea of inertial dampeners, poor guy would faint. He'd throw apples at us. You can't do it. They don't. But that's we have to explain. Look, this is sci-fi. This is every single sci-fi franchise has to do inertial dampeners. They have to, or else, including Battlestar Galactica, all of them, right? Or otherwise, they'd be mush at the back of a wall, right? You put those interplanetary engines on the impulse power without inertial dampeners, like everyone gets crushed against the back of the wall. Actually, the ship will also get like smushed and done. So. Yeah, poor Sir Isaac Newton. He'd be like, "What the hell?" And that's fine. That's fine, right? But we'll talk about inertial dampeners. I mean, Stargate, though, when you watch Destiny, so I put the video out, and it really is amazing. When I'm editing the video, like I'm trying to grab the coolest video, and then of course I have to change the video around so so you're not hit with copyright. Although a lot of these franchises, if you're doing a video that really lifts the franchise up, they tend to be okay with it as long as you're not stealing entire swaths, like 10 to 15 seconds of a scene. They tend to be okay. Now, if you're tearing it apart, ripping it apart, you better stick to about 5 seconds. But look, I love Stargate Universe, and if you like Destiny, so I got a video out. Maybe we'll go over it briefly on Wednesday. Wednesday, 7:00 Eastern is the main show, Dimension Zero. But the video is out, and I love, again, I will say, I mean, I love the concept of destiny. The idea, what a great idea that the ancients found some sort of logic in the background cosmic. The idea of that is incredibly interesting, right? From a science perspective, it's like, damn, that's a great. And then, so now they had to build a ship so Star Wars, which is much more advanced than Star Trek. They're galactic, right? They go across the galaxy in like 2 days. Star Trek is they're only in a quarter of the galaxy, and I think for them to go across the galaxy with their lore, it'd be like 70,000 years or something like that, right? I'm sure Starfleet Academy, the vagina ship. What was the Athena? The USS Vagina or the Athena? What was it? What were they called that? I'm sure it probably went warp 98 or something like that. But Star Trek is a regional power. Star Wars, in terms of the power generation, Star Wars generates millions of times more power, more energy than Star Trek. Millions of times. And I hear the argument all the time and I'm much more of a Trekkie than Star Wars. But Star Wars uses energy on a scale that makes antimatter is Star Wars batteries. It's like their little AA batteries they put into their Tonka trucks. I do not like Star Wars. How they write the antagonists, Star Wars is a butchered, brutalized. The one thing that Lucas did really good in the first 2 Star Wars, which I think are the only Star Wars that are left ever worth watching, the first 2. I fell asleep to A First Hope yesterday. I fell asleep pretty fast because I was tired. But if I was the screenwriter for the Star Wars universe, I would write. So when you're the protagonist, like you are in Star Trek, right? Star Trek, the Federation is the protagonist. You get into the bridge. You watch the captain. The captain is the main protagonist. We feel for him or her. The female captains have not been good. Voyager and Discovery, oh my God. And Starfleet Academy, Michael Burnham is there. Look, I think Michael Burnham in Discovery is a bigger Mary Sue than Ray Palpatine. I will argue that. I will argue that. Ben Feister! Sup, man? I'm saddened today. I know Sam Neill passed away. I know. Guys, Sam Neill. I love Sam Neill. Of course, I go back. Look, Event Horizon is what I think he was genius. Him and what's his name in Event Horizon? Sam Neill. We lost him today, and it wasn't for cancer, right? He was cancer free. Let's get this up. Yeah. I had that written down here. Of course, I get carried away because I start yakking. Sam Neill, guys. Sam Neill. Sam Neill was one of the good ones, right? He really was. Ben Feister, totally. I was 4 years old when I saw Jurassic Park in theaters in 1993. Well, you're a young man, you know. The first Jurassic Park was magnificent. The first Jurassic Park is up there with some of the best movies ever made. Steven Spielberg has a list of movies, and this is why you compare it to Christopher Nolan. Christopher Nolan, I think, has done irreparable damage with the Odyssey. Irreparable. I do. Steven Spielberg with Jurassic Park, yeah. I mean, that was everything. The writing in that, the characters, how the characters interacted. Jurassic Park was gold. Sam Neill's flair of acting is right up there with Sean Connery, Harrison Ford. Yeah. James Earl Jones. I love James Earl Jones. In Conan the Barbarian, could you imagine anyone else playing Thulsa Doom than James Earl Jones? I wish to speak to you now. When he explains the riddle of steel. That is power. That was the riddle of steel, right? What is steel compared to the hand that wields it? I think one of the best opening scenes, guys, is that scene with Conan when he's a young kid and the father, and his dad is explaining, and all that was left, Crom, or when Crom and the giants left, and it were just men, not gods, not giants, just men. The opening, and then building the sword, magnificent. Conan the Barbarian is magnificent cinema, guys, that cannot be replicated in today's environment. Conan the Barbarian cannot be replicated. Now, Arnie is making a new Conan movie. Conan the Barbarian, I could watch Conan the Barbarian over and over again. And I'm a huge Dungeons and Dragons guy, right? Like D&D. I collect Dungeons and Dragons stuff, paraphernalia. I got some juicy items in the old D&D stuff, but they don't make movies like that anymore. They don't. Sam Neill in Bicentennial Man, it hits differently now when you rewatch it. Another great film with the late legend Robin Williams. Boy, that's a long time ago. I would have to. I've watched it, but I would have to revisit that. I would have to revisit that. Sam Neill, like that's, I know, yeah. Before I was gonna go, I was getting ready, and then I looked. I forgot which website I was on, and I was like, Sam Neill? I know, and I was just reading 2 weeks ago that he was talking about that he's not scared to move on. He's not scared to. I don't know whether he was a religious man or if he was, an atheist, agnostic. I don't know what his. It's the same thing with Einstein. Einstein was happy to go. They could have saved Einstein. Einstein could have lived for a few more years. He said, "No, you know what? I'm done. I'm checking out. Yeah, I'm checking out. I'm done. I'm done here. Done." That's a good old Einstein. Oh, it's like, what do we need for Einstein on that one? I don't know. I feel like I gotta say something. I don't know. Yeah.
Fuck you.
No.
Fuck me.
That's the one. That's the one. Crank. I sent you pictures of my 3D print of my Viper hand painted on Facebook. Okay. You know, one of the great things about Battlestar Galactica, and this is interesting, guys, and I do videos on Star Trek, I do videos on Stargate, I do videos on Star Wars, on Expanse, on the Orville. I was even just thinking today about the Orville. I would not mind being on the Orville. The Orville, not only is like the first captain, first officer, not only is she hot, right? Like she was in a John Wick, right? She was, what's her name? She was a hot assassin. Like she's a good looking young lady. No, she's an older lady, but younger than me. So she's a young lady. But you know, it's like they've got good food, they got restaurants, they got dining on the Orville. And a new season of the Orville is coming out. So I was gonna do. I was thinking about on Dimension Zero on doing a poll, and doing like which ship would you want to hang out on? And then I thought, wait a sec, the Orville. If you watch the Orville would be a great ship to hang out on. It would be. It would be. On an aside, although some of the things in Galactica would be that boxing episode in season 4, being a kickboxer for 8 years, being in the ring many, many a time. That was a pretty, oh my God. You do not put a boxing episode together without a boxer taking control of the set, because that was a bad episode, the boxing in Battlestar Galactica. Although Battlestar Galactica, I will say, it is unspoiled, and this is the danger of a remake of Battlestar Galactica. This is the danger. This is why Battlestar Galactica endures. Star Trek has been obliterated with Starfleet Academy, even with the Kelvin timeline, which is no longer canon, right? You guys heard that, right? The Kelvin timeline is no longer canon. Oh, which is too bad. Like I liked what's his name, Captain Kirk, Chris Pine. I thought he was a good Captain Kirk. I did. I thought he was a good Captain Kirk. There was a lot of potential there. Zoe Saldana. Zoe Saldana as Uhura. Hi, Zoe. I love Zoe Saldana. I will go on a ship just because Zoe Saldana is on it. That's what I'll do. But Discovery, oh my God, guys, Discovery. All you got to do is watch season 2, episode 1. Season 2, episode 1 of Discovery. Strange New Worlds. Oh. There's pockets of greatness. Like there's this, because what's his name? Anson Mount has got some great charisma. Well, he does. But he should have had that role of Captain Kirk, right? He should have been that sort of stalwart captain that, like, Captain Kirk was the only guy. If you guys watch Star Trek, Captain Kirk was the only guy, right? The only guy that went toe to toe. He fought, he punched, he went down to the planet, and when it required a little bit of fisticuffs. Shatner was like, you didn't see Jean-Luc Picard going toe to toe. No. You didn't see Cisco or the Voyager. What's the Voyager? I forgot the Voyager. Did Michael Burnham get into a hand-to-hand fisticuffs with anybody? Anson Mount? Did he? No. Oh, what's her name in Starfleet Academy? Right? Did she go toe to toe? Did she go and punch? Well, mind you, she's like 4'9". I don't think she would have went and gone into a fight with anybody. But Crank, I will look for the picture. I will look for those images. Thank you very much. We're going to do an entire show one day on Battlestar Galactica. Well, I'm sure we'll do many. And the point I was going to make, because it comes from the mid 2000s, you kind of think that, boy, I wouldn't mind seeing more Battlestar Galactica. In today's environment, do you want Christopher Nolan? Do you want Christopher Nolan to make that movie, script, TV series? Maybe Christopher Nolan can do the casting. I don't know. Maybe, I don't know. Sometimes it's just better left. I don't know. I don't know. We got to give her this hump of this activism in movies. As a screenwriter, I don't. Anytime I'm confronted with it and writing a story, right? A story. If someone says, "Well, you got to put a gay relationship in there," why do I got to put frickin' anything in there? Why do I got to put a hetero relationship in there? I got to put a chick in it and make her gay? What do I got to do here? What do you? Yeah, no. Oh no! No. Yeah. Get off my porch. Get out of here. I'll sick my schnauzer after you. The Hunt for Red October with Sean Connery was another. Oh, brilliant movie. Was Sam and Sean Connery together? The Hunt for Red October is a good watch. Anytime. Once a year, you can watch Hunt for Red October. Not the greatest shots, but those are the images that you sent me. Not the greatest shots. All good. Yeah, you definitely need to revisit Bicentennial Man when you can. My guy from on Sci-Fi Nerd to Another. Probably good advice. A lot of times when I'm working on video, like today I spent hours. So today I woke up at 2:16. That's actually my my alarm. I set at 2:16 in the morning because I skip the Monday. I always skip the gym. That's my every day. But I was working on templates all day. So I didn't work on as many. I think one video I worked on. Templates, Photoshop templates for live shows. And this is for Pop Rages and for Dimension Zero. But when I'm working, oftentimes I'll have a movie in the background. Because I got a 65-inch TV about 8 feet to my right, 9 feet to my right. It's far enough that I can appreciate the full size of a 65-inch TV. But Bicentennial Man might be... I just read Craig's. I read Craig's chat from a couple down. We're getting there. Bicentennial. Yeah. That's worth a rewatch for sure. Yeah. The Captain Kirk and Strange New Worlds looked. Oh, I know. I hate Captain Kirk and Strange New Worlds. It's like he has. It's almost like he's got one of those big, like one of those Adam's apples. Like he's like kind of. He's not Chris Pine and he's not William Shatner. That casting is horrific. If anything, Anson Mount. I mean, he's kind of got that. Apparently they spend more time with the hair. On Anson Mount, fix the hair, do the hair, fix the hair. He's got good hair. He's got good hair, guys. He does. Anson Mount, he's got good hair. He doesn't have good lines. He doesn't have good writing. He doesn't. It's a poorly written show. I can't wait for the puppets. Are you guys ready for the puppets? Season 4. The puppets on Strange New World. Worlds, sorry, plural. The puppets are coming. They're coming. The puppet show. We will cover Strange New Worlds here on Dimension Zero. So don't you worry. We'll cover them. We'll talk about the episodes, right? Yeah, we'll do. I can't say that it's not going to be comedy hour, but we'll give it a fair shake. Yeah, I agree though. Captain Kirk in Strange New Worlds is not what I would have cast. Nothing against the actor, right? It's not the, like, you don't want to. I'm tired. This is the one. I'm tired of the gayness being forced down my throat. Yanus for the gayness. I don't know what's going on anymore. I don't know. I'll tell you what though. I'll tell you what. The biggest superpower any of us have, and I think a lot of people are doing it. I didn't even look. I love the cinematic experience. I love going. I go to most movies by myself. I do. I love it. I don't need someone else. I don't need. So I don't. Especially as a screenwriter, because I really get into the movie. I try and get into the story of it, and then I try and break the story apart, and But that's the writer in me. I didn't go watch Minions. I don't think I want to. I didn't go watch Toy Story. I don't think I want to. And I'm not covering it as a critic, right? On Poprageous or on Dimension Zero. Of course, those really don't fall into Dimension Zero because we do sci-fi, fantasy, and horror. Mostly sci-fi, but fantasy. So like if Witcher was coming out, we would cover Witcher. That's sci-fi fantasy. Supergirl, I went to go see that, but I'm not going to go see it. The superpower that we possess is not to spend our money on stuff that's going to feed these damn studios. It's the power of the purse and nothing. Look, if you want to shove this stuff, I don't need a hetero relationship. I don't need a gay relationship. I don't need to know what someone does in bed. If my inclination as a straight male is that every male I see is straight, that's what's going to happen regardless of, doesn't matter how many gay people you put, you could be Game of Thrones and me with gay sex scenes left, right, and center. And it's not going to change the fact that every guy I see in a movie, I will be thinking that he's probably, just like probably every gay guy watching, it's up to the viewer. Let them interpret, right? I don't care if someone's non-binary or non-this. You don't need to write it into the screenplay as a screenwriter unless it is literally about that subject. Right, that topic becomes a part of the plot. Most of the time it's not. Now, horror stories, as a screenwriter, some of my horror movies or screenplays have been my most winningest screenplays in the film festival, global film festival circuit. And literally, it got to the point where I started winning so many film festivals around the world. I would just get the emails from other film festivals. Like there's like 2 or 3 Cannes film festivals at Cannes. There's the one big one. Then there's 2 other fairly big ones. Both of them, they keep emailing me. And then I'll put this one, which is very flattering. But, the point, what was the point of this? Where is it going with that? Yeah. I'm like a dog chasing a bone. Screenplay. So the power of story is not because you need to or have to. Women, horror. That's what I was going to say. Horror. Women and horror screenplays work magnificently. They do. Men have a certain role to play in a horror movie, and women characters work exceptionally well in horror movies. I don't know why. It is something that works. Now, in one of my universes, I have men. part of the Vatican. They have these demon hunters, these demon hunter priests, and they're all men. And then on the other side, I have these females that have these, or it tends to be more female that have these, like, you know, this, I would say psychotic powers. Every woman has psychotic powers. Every woman I have ever known has psychotic powers. Psionic powers. I was gonna, like, some sort of, you know, power in each, and so it's how you use men and women in different movie formats. If I have another, it's a TV series, and it's about the Scandinavia pre-birth of Christ. And I go deep into the lore. I use the Lord. I use, like, you know, a lot of Gerard Butler 300 kind of guys, right? But it's not that two-dimensional. It's very deep. It's very, but there's also, but the point is each, so that is male dominant, right? It's male dominant. There's 3 or 4 great female characters, but it's male dominant. So how you write, as a screenwriter, how you write your movie. I was listening to Lupita talking about how Homer, I would ask him about how his perspective or idea of women, why he gave women so little screen time. Of course, Homer, 3,000 years ago, you think, what is screen time? Screen time? And of course, back then they had amphitheaters where they played everything out, 4,000 or 5,000 people, and it would be, you know, set in a play format. And of course, back then, do you think women went to how many women do you think were on the front line of Troy, right? How many women do you think were sitting there holding the shields, you know, wearing their bronze plated armor? But apparently, you know what I learned from Christopher Nolan? They wore black leather armor, apparently. Leatherish black armor. What the fuck? Really? And how they try to argue that is they put, when they smelted it or something, they was it zinc or something they put into it? Oh my God. Look, what we need is just a good rapper in the Odyssey to really make that. Oh wait, they got one, right? They got one. I don't know. I just want to watch a sci-fi show that makes me wonder. Exactly. That's when science people write sci-fi. When good science people write sci-fi. Like Hail Mary, right? Project Hail Mary. It made you consider interesting ideas that, like the concept of life and how Rocky would have seen the world, the difference in how he perceives the world. Those are the things that make us think, right? It is an elevated form of movie experience, which is what kind of like Star Trek used to be, right? Look, Star Trek tries to be. It is like the Alex Kurtzman days are done. What scares me of what comes after Alex Kurtzman, because it can get worse, guys. It can. Like 2001, Contact and Interstellar. Interstellar to me was one of Christopher Nolan's better movies. Like I say, I will go toe to toe with anybody. Anybody. You want to sit down with me and go and go over the screenplay of Dark Knight? I will tear that piece of crap, frackin' piece of shite screenplay. The Dark Knight was garbage screenplay. Every scene was garbage. You know, how did the Joker get out of jail? Right? How many people? So the one time they actually put the cop inside. How many? Remember when the Joker let what's her name go and she falls down there and super spider, like Superman or Spider-Man could have saved the day. But Batman, they fall all the way down, and apparently the cloak, his thing has got memory. They hit the top. Oh my God. Every scene is utter stupidity. Now, if there's anybody out there, you've got to have a screenplay background, okay? Who wants to go with me toe to toe, scene by scene, not on the spectacle of the Dark Knight, on the frackin' stupidity of one of the worst written screenplays ever. The Dark Knight. Bring it. I'm working on a video to show the lengths of how bad The Dark Knight was. It is screenwriting at its frickin' worst. The only thing worse than The Dark Knight is The Dark Knight Rises. But that's for another day. But I agree with you, Crank. I agree with you, Crank. Yeah, 2001: A Space Odyssey is magic. Magic. Brilliance. Brilliance. Space 1999. I get a kick out of Space 1999. I do. I used to love it as a kid. Man, as I think about Sam's passing, yeah, Sam Neill. What a great actor. What a great guy. Great man, right? Great. I really did the day my childhood hero, Harrison Ford. I know. You know, finally passes. I'm going to bawl my eyes out when that day comes. Harrison Ford is... he's movie royalty, I guess, right? He's movie royalty. I'm not sure how else you would put it. It's like even Harrison Ford admits and acknowledges the stupidity of the last Indiana Jones one, right? I mean, he's not like he probably got a big... I don't think that's the way he wanted to send off Indiana Jones. He probably got a $20-30 million payday. Goes to the kids. It's worth it. All right, we'll sign off that character. The first Indiana Jones is... look, the first one... The second, third one, none of them even compare to the first one. The first one is all unto its own. That is differently. The first Indiana Jones is just different league movie making. At a time where, look at the second one, I don't know what happens. Of course, I'm working on my own movies, Dimension Zero and Poprageous, which is why I created the streaming. I left Los Angeles with all my screenplays, and I am going to be producing them, making them, directing them. But I've gone through that process with my friends. I have, New Zealand. I have a lot of New Zealand friends, and of course, Sam Neill was a New Zealand guy, right? I was planning on being on here for a quick half hour show. We're over an hour already. I knew that was going to happen because I can't stop yakking. Tomorrow night on the other chat, Poprageous, we were going to be live. Poprageous, I'm firing Poprageous back up. I got working on new design elements. Poprageous, Tuesday night live, tomorrow night. And then Wednesday here on Dimension Zero across TikTok, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, yada, 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 everywhere. We're going to go live. You know, I don't know when. I'm going to try and get Trisha Helfner. Trisha, number 6. I could swing it. But not until the busy time. Mid-July is the slowest time. But I want to get Trisha on when I can give her a very big audience. And maybe even Katie Sackhoff. No, I'll be able to. I'll guarantee you. Katie Sackhoff, even Grace Park. I'll get them on. Adama. I know peeps in Hollywood. I know peeps. These are people that I admire. And getting them part of the Dimension Zero family, I think, is really important because there's so many Battlestar Galactica fans. Battlestar Galactica, more so than any genre, gets the most views of all my videos. Battlestar Galactica, more than Star Trek, Star Wars, and Stargate. Battlestar Galactica. I put out an image of Battlestar Galactica. I put up a video of Battlestar, a short, a long form, it doesn't matter. Battlestar Galactica. Oh, hold on a second. Okay, we gotta. I saw respectfully disagree. I like that. I like that. Okay, we're gonna get to it. What are your thoughts on the Foundation series and the prequel of Dune? So with Dune, I love Dune. I love Dune. Dune, Denis Villeneuve took something that was impossible. Honestly, I thought Dune was an impossible thing to write coherently, as we've seen in the past. We've seen other Dune attempts that were like, holy jeez. I mean, Sting wasn't bad, but really? There's more ways to screw Dune up than there is to make it a coherent movie. There really is. There really is. You can screw Dune up 1,000 ways to Sunday. And Denis Villeneuve, I think he took look. And when you adapt books, when you adapt comic books or novels or whatever into a screenplay, it's got to change. Now, episode 4 of House of the Dragon. Oh my God, what in the hell? What is going on? The first 2 episodes were pretty strong, not bad, but I think they came from last season. But this 4th episode, point being, it's an adaptation from a book, and it's never going to be exactly like the book. So you can't go source material. I love the source material. Why are they deviating? Because you can't adapt a book exactly the same into a movie. With that being said, Dune I thought, would be an impossible movie trilogy to make. Can I get back? There I go. Now the Foundation series. I am not familiar with Foundation. Oh, Apple. I've never watched Apple TV. Top 5 best moments in season 1 and 2 of Foundation. Fans have spoken. Watch the. Oh, okay. So Foundation is new. You know what? Apple streaming is the one service I have never had. 3 seasons in Foundation. IMDb's got a 7.6, which is respectable. What's the log line? Let me just see what the log line is. A complex saga of humans scattered on planets throughout the galaxy, all living under the rule of the Galactic Empire. Interesting. Oh, it's got Richard Harris. Not Richard. Jared Harris. Richard Harris' son. Wow, that's a great actor, right? Lee Pace. Terrence Mann. There's some good actors in this. Maybe I should subscribe to Apple TV, I guess, right? There's some good. Yeah, this is wow. I mean, Jared Harris is enough reason. Is reason enough to watch, right? Jared Harris, what a brilliant actor, and his father, Richard. Which of course, his greatest role to me is still what's his name, the the British guy, historical guy. Oh my God, I can't believe I can't remember. You know what I'm saying, right? With the Cromwell. Okay, Apple TV. I gotta look into Apple TV. Look at Apple TV. But I'm looking forward to Dune 3. I am looking forward to Dune 3. The hell's going on? Ben Feister, respectfully disagree. Indiana Jones and The Last Crusade, in my view, were slightly beats Raiders. Story-wise and the screenplay, it's opinion. There's no right or wrong. It's like arguing, if that's what you feel, then that's what it is. I would argue that the screenplay of the first one is much stronger. But movies give us joy, right? They give us comfort. Oh, every night when I lie down, and I lie down, pretty early relative to most people. I mean, right after the stream, I'll go lie down and I'll fall asleep to a movie. I fall asleep to movies. That's my thing. And movies bring comfort. TV shows bring comfort. Sometimes they bring anxiety. Harrison Ford landing on a taxiway. I think that was a sign of things. They should have pulled his license back, but that's just me. I know. That was landing on a golf course, wasn't it? Harrison, you're a naughty little boy. Harrison, you're a naughty little boy.
I mean, how stupid do you think I am?
I don't know. I didn't ask. I don't know.
You're boring!
Ben Feister, the action, the balance of humor, a father-son story. Yeah. Searching the Holy Grail with Sean Connery. Come on, LOL, Last Crusade. For me, it's cinematic perfection. And that, you know what? That's fair. I am without argument. I'm without argument. Movies are brilliant because I'm gonna let the crowd cheer. This is what movies do for us. They take us away. When you're feeling like frack, I'm going to use frack from now on. Battlestar Galactica, frack me. When you're feeling, I should call Tricia Helfner or Katie Sackhoff. Can I use frack? Is that cool? Is that cool? Katie, is that cool? When we go see stuff, even when we want to watch, we will throw on a certain episode of a certain TV show. It's the power of story. It's this, and as a screenwriter, as an English major, and I tell people, look, when I'm writing one of my screenplays and I'm feeling it, I will literally cry because I get into the characters. People ask me about AI and writing. Well, there's no freaking way I could use AI. I get it. I have all the lights down. Oh, and I don't write it. I'm on computer. And when I get to the scenes and I work it out, on most scenes, you have to work it out. It's like kneading dough. You got to keep rolling it. Every time you roll it is like one iteration of the scene. Every movie and TV show is about the emotional response that you get. Why did Supergirl flop so much? There was no... I have a way to fix Supergirl. So easily. I would take Lobo out. It would be about between her and Superman. Superman would be a fairly... not major, but Superman would be a fairly major. She would shun the S. She would almost die trying to save the doggy. Superman would come and save her. Not save her, but help to save her. When I go for my walk yesterday morning, I got through it and I know exactly the way I would have written it. And it would have been a tearjerker. To me, it would have been a tearjerker. It would have been about Supergirl dissing everything that S represents. And then at the end, based on how I would, I got the broad strokes done. She would have realized that would have been her character arc. This does mean something. And Superman would have tried to explain to her that it does mean something. And she almost dies. And the fact that she almost dies, it was something that Superman said that she remembers on like that cusp of her near death. But something that Superman mentioned at the beginning of the movie. I don't want to give it all away. I don't want to. Look, when you're a screenwriter, you don't give this shit away because you can. Other people can take it and easily put it into wherever they want. And Supergirl doesn't say it. You don't say the obvious. She just says thank you. She just thank you for what? She doesn't say anything. Silence is the most powerful thing, guys, in screenwriting. This is something Robert Downey Jr. understood in at the end of Endgame. When the Russo brothers, they didn't know how to finish off the scene. And to Robert Downey Jr.'s credit, and this is where Harrison Ford is fantastic as well. A lot of these actors, sometimes they know how to do a scene. Robert Downey Jr. was basically the author of the final scene of Endgame. And they didn't know what, the Russo brothers couldn't figure out what Robert Downey Jr. or Iron Man would say, right? Tony Stark. And it was Robert Downey Jr. says, look, this is a guy you couldn't shut up. You couldn't shut him up for the life. Yeah, he always had a comment, an opinion about everything. This is the one time he said nothing. He couldn't say anything. He died saying nothing. Freaking powerful, guys. That's what, because all of a sudden we are watching Tony Stark move on to the next life, if I may put it that way. And he says nothing. He can't say anything. That's the power. It brings stuff out in us, right? If you do not react emotionally to the third act, if we're not building the protagonist and antagonists, for me, it would have been this relationship with Krem and Supergirl. Even the little girl with the swords, we don't need her. This was an introduction for Supergirl. And you could have put Superman on a freaking pedestal because that's what you had to do. You put Superman on that freaking pedestal. You don't have to say that he was the reason Supergirl came back and understood what that S was about. The audience freaking knows. Don't say it. Don't say it. Supergirl just says thank you. For what? I did. In silence, right? Movies are powerful. They are. This is what they mean to us, guys. Sci-fi. I think, Crank, you said it. Sci-fi allows us to explore the idea of the universe, the idea of life, the idea of what's a magnetar, what's a pulsar, what is beyond. Like, this is the great thing about Stargate universe. What is beyond our galaxy? That one scene, it's one scene, and I put it in the video where they're mapping where Destiny came from, and you see it going to all these points. And someone says, "Those are stars, right?" I said, "No, those are galaxies." Destiny is 5 billion light years from the Milky Way. 5 billion light years. 5 billion. 1 light year is 6 trillion miles. 5 billion, 6 trillion miles. The size of the universe and the size of space is freaking mind blowing. I want to do this is an aside. I want to do an entire episode, like 2-3 hours, of the magnificence, the art of starships. And this is what people don't understand. When you look at Battlestar Galactica, the Pegasus, all of the Battlestars, freaking beautiful art. Look at Star Trek starships. This is art, my friends. This is art. This is the stuff you build models and you put it on your shelf because it's art. It is sci-fi art to its most magnificent. It's art. Sci-fi ships is art. Destiny, I mean, what a beautiful ship, right? The shape of Destiny is freaking magnificent. So, yes, you are right, because that is what that movie means to you, Ben Feister. Look, there's millions, mostly women, who loved Barbie. You're not gonna, just because you didn't like, you're not gonna dissuade them that it was a bad movie. That movie was a freaking blockbuster. They didn't make Barbie for any of us guys. I went to go see it. It was me and like 40 women. I watched it in Los Angeles when I lived in Los Angeles. Barbenheimer, right? There was the Barbenheimer. That was 2 years ago. That was my last summer in Los Angeles. Crank. Kyle McLaughlin. A breakdown playing Paul Atreides on the movie set in 1984. That's how hard it was to play. Yes. What's his name that plays Paul Atreides? Dude actor. He's a good actor. I have nothing against Zendaya. I don't. I hear people, some people are vicious against her. I got nothing against Zendaya. People say she always makes one face. Well, if that's the face she needs to make in the scene, that's what she does. You think Brad Pitt doesn't have two or Brad Pitt, I tell you, Brad Pitt is one of the guys that plays almost the same person in every freaking movie. But it's Brad Pitt. It's Brad Pitt, right? He's not great. Like you can't get Brad Pitt to deviate too far from who he is, because then it looks like, okay, shit, just go back to, just get back. Look, at the end of the day, most actors don't really deviate too far. Tom Hanks used to be pretty good at going, wow, okay, that's really a different character. Not too many actors, get that far from. Imagine that luck crashing on a golf course with two doctors just happened to be playing golf that day. I know, right? That's Harrison Ford. Yeah, Harrison Ford. Yeah, I know. Harrison Ford, like he's destined, what is it, 82, 83? You got to think he's going to be into the 90s, right? Got to be into the 90s. Eat your Brussels, not your Brussels, your Brussels sprouts, your broccoli sprouts. You got to eat your broccoli sprouts, your extra virgin olive oil. You've got to eat your blueberries, your strawberries. You got to get a little bit of nuts in there, not peanuts. Peanuts are bad. You got to get a little bit of like brie. I eat a little bit of brie cheese every day. Green tea. I eat all of this stuff. It's freaking expensive, but I do. I literally start the day, guy. I have this big bowl, and I buy the broccoli sprouts, arugula, and a bunch of mostly broccoli sprouts. And I take a huge handful and I put it in, and I eat the broccoli sprouts. Then I take a little mouthful of extra virgin olive oil, and then I do coffee. This is about 2:18 in a.m. because I wake. That's the time I wake up. 2:16 I wake up, and I think all this stuff, and you exercise. You got to do weights. You got to do weights. And even if it's a walk, get those legs moving, and you got to do weights. Challenge the muscles. You will die sooner, much sooner, if you don't do weights. That's what tells your body, I need stuff. I need you to act like a 25-year-old again, or 35-year-old again, or 45-year. If you're 85 and you're going to tell your body to be 45 again, it only happens because of weights and exertion, strength through range of motion, whatever it is, right? Take care of yourselves, guys. Exercise. Don't be scared to exercise. It's got to be lifestyle change, not just I'll do it once in a while. Lifestyle change, 3-4 times a week. Buy little 5, 10, 20, 50. You don't need 20-pound weights. You don't. If 15-pound curls becomes easy, slow it down, right? Just slow it down, all the way up. Just go slower. You don't have to increase the weight. That's how you hurt yourself. People ask me, Danny, what's the most you've ever bench pressed? I don't know. I don't do my full weight. That's how you freaking hurt yourself. That's how you get out of the gym. Right? That's the best advice I could give. If I had kids, jeez, oh my God. I wish I could talk to my 20-year-old self, right? Right? Yeah, shit. Where are we here? Imagine. There we go. Yeah. Most movies are on a bell curve. Sequels are rarely better. They are rarely better. Like, look at the Matrix series. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter which series you go to. It's like, it's never better. It's so true, right? No joke. 2 doctors were on the golf course when Harrison Ford crashed the plane. I know. What year was that? 16? When did Harrison Ford crash land? 2015. Harrison Ford has had two major crash landings, right? Mostly notably March 5th, 2015, when his vintage 1942 Ryan P-22 recruit suffered engine failure. He was forced to crash land on the Penmar Golf Course in Venice, California. And of course, I wasn't too far from there. In 2015, I was probably on Melrose Avenue. I was on Melrose, or I could have been on Robertson. I had a store in Robertson and North Robertson, by the way, not South Robert. No, wait, South Robert. In the ritzy part by the Ivy. I was like a block away from the Ivy. You saw everyone, like that's where you wanted to be seen in for lunch. The Ivy in Hollywood, you go to the Ivy on Robertson. That's where you go. And I had so many in my store there. I had so many celebrities that would come in. From Diana Ross, she bought all white stuff, everything white. So I had a leggings, activewear, kind of a different kind of stuff. She bought all white. I had Bill Paxton, Kim Kardashian, who was actually, I mean, I know Kim Kardashian quite well. And a few other, I don't want to name. I never name drop. It's the first time, and I think it's the first time I've name dropped. It's something I typically don't do, but I don't like to. But Harrison Ford, yeah. A long-range helicopter in 1999 during a routine training flight. But yeah, it was the 2015. It was the 2015. It's not an S. What did I do? Oh, are you talking about the bell curve? What did I do? Okay. When you're alive, you're always at least 20 IQ points dumber. Because you're trying, what did I miss? S. Okay, it's not an S. Let me agreed. Franchises like Star Wars, Star Trek, Indiana Jones, Jurassic Park, etc. They inspire our human condition. Jurassic Park has also become. I'll admit, I did not see the Scarlett Johansson Jurassic Park. I started to watch it. I got bored and I turned it off. I like Scarlett Johansson. I do. She gets the man gaze from me. Robert Downey Jr. in Tropic Thunder. You see the thunder, right? That's look. The Tropic Thunder was the peak of comedy. Was the only white man that could do blackface, and black people didn't get offended at all, even accepted him because he did it so well. And you understand why. So and you got to look at it from the screenplay perspective. Robert Downey Jr. didn't make being black the joke. He was the smart guy. He was the sophisticated guy. The jokes that he made were usually directed towards Ben Stiller. They were directed. You don't. We talked about never go full retard. He was the guy with the wisdom. Being black. He didn't act like the idiot being a black man. He acted like a real, intelligent, put together, slightly mentally, emotionally off black man. That's why it worked. I saw I forgot who it was, but they dressed up as a white guy and acted really stupid. That's not what Robert Downey Jr. did, right? He acted like the joke wasn't about him being the black. He was honestly the black guy. And then with with what's his name, Al Pacino, right? I mean, there's some great. But when he said, "You never go full retard," white people lost their shit. Look. what's his name with you, mama, make me happy. I mean that. There are so many good things. There's so many good things to Tropic Thunder. That is a once a year watch, twice a year watch. You could hit Tropic Thunder. That is movie making at its peak. At its peak. What's going on here? There we go. The golf course crash was his second incident with an airplane. Yes, it was. That was the one that I remember. Zendaya is from my city. Yeah, she's from the. You're from the San Francisco area, right, Crank? Right. I got nothing against Zendaya. I know a lot of people that just. I didn't mind her. I think Ben Feister, I don't think you liked her in Spider-Man, right? As MJ. I don't mind her. I don't. MJ is supposed to have, I think, red hair. When you start talking hair and stuff, I mean, that gets pretty, but it's up to the individual. You're not wrong to feel that way. So I'm not going to try and, convince you otherwise. But for me, Zendaya, I have nothing against Zendaya. Is she the best Athena? No, probably not. Maybe I wouldn't, but I didn't see her audition tape either. I like her in Dune. I do. I don't mind her in Spider-Man. I'm looking forward to a brand new day. I mean, Spider-Man brand new day is gonna do good. I know we're off topic, but my favorite real story is Harrison Ford rescuing a lost Boy Scout at Yellowstone. Damn, man! Imagine being that boy being rescued by Indiana Jones. I'll take it. I'll sell the screenplay. I will sell the screenplay. I will sell that screenplay.
Yeah, baby, yeah!
Half hour. I'm only going to pop on for a half hour. I tell myself. Superman said it was not an S, and it wasn't. It was supposed to be something with it's a symbol. It stands for hope. I mean, it is. However you want to look at it, it's not. I don't know if there's a right or wrong. I think what was intended by it, I don't know. If I would have written the Supergirl, it would have been a much different movie. I wouldn't have used the comic. I don't care about the comic. I don't. I just need the audience to care about, to see this dramatic arc. And then by the end of this dramatic arc, Supergirl was so freaking wrong. And she realizes this stuff does mean something. It's part of being young and stupid. It's part of, you could have elevated Superman and created an amazing character with Supergirl. I will share maybe I'll do a video how to fix Supergirl based on like being a screenwriter, how I would, this is not rocket science, guys. If you're not crying or feeling something in a movie by the third act, movie missed the mark. The script read you, that you didn't read the script. That's what, if I could use the Tropic Thunder, This is Hollywood. Everyone's gay once in a while. The Lance. What did I hear? Lance? The hell was that, Lance? I said Nance. I said. It's not an S. Man of Steel, Crank, was giving you a Soups reference. Yes. Yeah. No, I know. It's just to relive the previous comment. Oakland. Yes, Oakland. Dude, you have seen, Oakland is like Los Angeles times 2, right? Los Angeles is bad. I was there 20 years. I grew up in Calgary, Alberta, Canada. I was born in the Czech Republic, in Brno. I was born in Brno, outside of Prague. The Russians invaded in 1968. I was born in 1967. My dad's name was on the list. He had to get on a bus, grab us, leave the house behind, leave every possession he had. My parents, everything, except for the clothes on their back. And we were one of the last buses that got out on the Vienna side because my auntie, she did fake passports in Vienna for people that are trying to get out of the Czech Republic, out of the communist system. And it's a great story. My dad, my dad crossing the border. There was a Czech, one of the last Czech sergeants that was running the border. Lucky enough, and I didn't have a passport. I was a few months old. I didn't have a passport. He was called off the bus. He had a gun in his, and my dad told me, he goes, I was so close to using it. I didn't know what else to do because he thought that, the Czech sergeant, he said, biež, go. That's what biež in Czech is, biež. Už, biež pryč. Go away, go. And left the border and went to Vienna, and 3-4 months later, we were on the shores of Vancouver. But I did spend about 7 years in Kelowna, 20 years in Los Angeles. So basically, I have a social on both sides of United States and Canada. I'm an individual. I am a citizen of Canada, but I'm not a citizen of the United States. But I have the social. After 20 years old. So with that being said, I'm telling you guys, healthcare is a fracking disaster in America. It is stress. I understand America, my friends in Los Angeles, the stress that healthcare is in America. There's no stress here in Canada, believe me. I don't care what you think you hear in America about Canadian healthcare. I had appendicitis. It cost me $30,000 in Los Angeles. Wouldn't it cost me anything here? Zero. If you got money, the healthcare system in the United States is awesome. It's awesome if you got money. If you don't, it's not. It's not. The average person is scared to go get tested for stuff because it is bankruptcy level stuff, right? Bankruptcy. Nope. We got what we got? Unchanged Catapult. Oh, God. AI viewers streamboo.com. I think I just promoted something. I have no idea what it is. But if you're going to write it down, hell, I guess I'll write it down. That's horrible. My life story? Wait, what's my life story? Oh, you know what? We didn't get to the polls. I had some polls. We'll do the polls on Wednesday. On Dimension Zero. 7:00 on Wednesday. And then we did Stargate. We'll touch on we're going to do more Odyssey, a little bit more Supergirl, Stargate, Battlestar. We're going to jump into Battlestar Galactica on Wednesday. And anything you guys want to talk about, that is Dimension Zero on Wednesday. Tomorrow night on Poprageous. Totally redoing Poprageous. I'm taking off the gloves and I'm going toe to toe after 20 years in Los Angeles. I stopped the live shows on Poprageous about, I think, 8, 10, 12 weeks ago. Rejigging all of Poprageous on YouTube, Facebook, and everything. So tomorrow night, I will be on for Poprageous Live, the big show, Tuesday night big show. That's going to start up again. And I got a lot more Dimension Zero videos coming out. Every day, I do a few shorts, depending on where you're watching, Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram. Where else do I release on? Pinterest. Pinterest is mostly Pinterest. Images do the best on Pinterest, easily. Even on Facebook, like there's a lot. Anyway, Facebook is. What I'm trying to do is get to. I want to do a lot more like 4 or 5 minute videos, and then cut those videos up into shorts, because there's some real value, especially at Facebook loves, the people on Facebook, they love, I got 106,000 people on Facebook. So, but even on YouTube, hey, look, you know what, wherever my peeps come from, I'm all good. So, damn, I turned away and we got already. What you said about what your parents went through. Oh, yeah. It is. I take it for granted, right? You take it for granted because, well, that's just what my parents did to protect the family. It's a great story. My dad's gone. He died of, he passed away in about 20 years ago. Cancer, frack cancer. Cancer can go to hell, but he did smoke his entire life, right? His entire life, he was a smoker. Don't smoke. Remember Yul Brynner? Do you remember the Yul Brynner commercials, Crank? You might remember the Yul Brenners. He went on TV before he died of cancer. Let me tell you one thing. Don't smoke. Don't smoke. I smoked for a few years. All these aliens in these sci-fi shows speaking and reading English, I know. Not realistic, tongue-in-cheek. Project Hail Mary did it in a pretty interesting way. But yeah, no, you're right. It's something. It's like inertial dampeners. It's like artificial gravity. Same thing. It's like the structural things that start that all these ships have got to put in place. If there's any amount of G-forces put onto these starships, any amount of these starships would just pancake themselves, right? The Expanse. If you want to see what the Expanse, what starships might look like. The Expanse. I don't know how we get out of our solar system, guys. I don't know. There's no logical way. When you just take zero gravity, the only way that you make gravity is by a massive amount of mass, right? Or energy. You don't want that much energy in one place. You don't. You'd rather have, but that is the only way gravity comes from. There's not like this chemical formula. You just create gravity. We're screwed. We are going to be like, I have never, radiation, or like the radiation. First off, zero gravity will kill us. The radiation in the middle of space will kill us. I am a firm believer that we will travel the galaxy and our universe. We will travel it in Hollywood and our minds. I've heard Brian Cox talk about stuff. He's a little bit more optimistic about maybe we'll get to a place where we're leaving our solar system. I don't see it. I don't see it. Just from the laws of physics. You're not going to break the laws of physics. Right? You're not. Sam Neill. Hey, Ben, and we're going to talk more about Sam Neill tomorrow, Wednesday night. It's look, I was, before I went on air tonight, I was like, jeez. Going back to Sam Neill, one of my favorite ironies is that Harrison Ford was the first choice to be Dr. Grant in Jurassic Park. I didn't know that. But turned it down. Imagine how different Jurassic Park would be. I don't think, like, it would be Harrison Ford in anything in those days would have been amazing. But Sam Neill in Jurassic Park brought such a realistic, humanistic. And that's what Sam Neill always brought, even in Event Horizon, right? I remember him from Event Horizon because it's one of Lawrence Fishburne and Sam Neill were. Lawrence Fishburne goes well. Lawrence Fishburne is like, what is he? He's like peanut butter. He goes well with so many things. He does. All right. Him and Keanu Reeves, like Lawrence Fishburne is fantastic. But yeah. Yeah. Yep. If there was a way to break the surface tension, as it were, of space-time, well, and of course, space-time is energy flow. If we're talking about 0 point energy, I know, and there's not, because it's the lowest form of energy, and energy has to flow down to the next lower form. But there's so many things we don't understand as human beings. The whole idea of space-time, the whole idea of understanding what reality is. Do we really understand what reality is? I've always been, since a young kid, you take a look at fish at the bottom of the ocean. They don't have eyes because they don't need it. Is there a sixth sense that we just didn't develop because we didn't need it? Like, we have the touch, smell, feel, taste. So what did I miss? The five senses, right? Is there a sixth sense we just didn't develop because we just didn't need it? Our senses were developed through the process of requiring these things to survive. Was there a sixth sense? I've heard some people say, yeah, mental. No. Nobody possesses mental abilities that I don't. Or that you don't. No one does. It's an interesting concept, right? It really is. It makes you think, what is this universe about? Are we living in a simulation? Look, there's plenty of evidence that we live in a simulation. It's an interesting concept, too. I saw dark matter. Getting a beaker of dark matter may be the key. Dark matter. Yeah, I think we're starting to understand dark matter a little bit more. And you know that there is what we now might think is that we are actually in a void. That our cluster of galaxies, like the big black voids where there's very little stuff, that they think that I made a video on this on Dimension Zero Science, that we live that our galaxy cluster is actually in a big black void, which is why the expansion of the universe looks like it does, and that is all being distorted to the point where based on the observable universe, space is expanding faster than the speed of light, right? We know that. It is. The universe is expanding faster than the speed of light. The universe can do that because you cannot travel through space faster than the speed of light. And to a photon, right? If you were a photon at the speed of light, even though we watch a photon, which takes how many? What does it take? 9 minutes? 8 minutes? What is it to go from our sun to our eyeball? From our sun, one photon. If you go to that photon to a photon, whether it goes 93 million miles or 93 billion light years, to a photon, it's instantaneous, right? 93 billion light years, that photon, boom, boom, it goes instantaneous. But to us, it is 93 billion light years. But to a photon, it's instantaneous. At the speed of light, because a photon is a particle and a wave, it's basically warp 10, right? You are everywhere at the same time. This stuff is insane. This is the beauty of what sci-fi should be, right, Crank? I think you mentioned this earlier, Crank. This is the beauty of sci-fi. We should be exploring these things through great stories in Star Trek. Maybe not so much Star Wars, but there could be more of this in Star Wars. Like dish soap and water. Like, how come it's not coming on? Come on. There's no time. There's no time to a photon, which is strange. Yeah, photons have no time. They go the speed of light. They are a particle and a wave. There are things in our universe, like when we take a look at matter just before it becomes a black hole. So it's a neutron star, which like a tablespoon is billions of tons. And you can also have a neutron star become a magnetar. Like magnetars, you want to screw around? Go screw around with a magnetar. Hope hope that works out. I did a 2 or 3 minute video about magnet. I love magnetars. Magnetars are insane celestial objects. Insane magnetars. It's crazy. They have the most powerful magnetic fields of any object in the universe that we know of so far. They are a neutron star spinning at thousands of revolutions per second. Like the same size, 10 to 15 kilometers. And when you talk about an earthquake, right? You talk about an earthquake on Earth, it moves a few feet, several feet. On a neutron star or a magnetar, a starquake, if it goes half a centimeter, right? There's so much gravity. A half a centimeter starquake, like something just moves just a tiny. It is such a massive starquake that what year was it that we got hit from a magnetar 50,000 light years away? It actually disrupted all of our satellites and everything. Blew some out, or from a magnetar that had a starquake from 50,000 light years away. Was it 2014 or something like that? This is crazy stuff. Crazy. This is Dimension Zero stuff, right? This is the incredible stuff that's sci-fi that we should be exploring with science fiction. But it's also the human condition, right? As we've seen, what made Star Trek, the original series, amazing? Bones. Spock. Well, it was Spock and Kirk, right? That was the main relationship. I mean, those two, that's hard to replicate. You throw Bones in there and Scotty. That's why we watch movies. That's why we watch TV shows. So, guys, let's wrap it up there because I'm going to be back tomorrow night with Poperageous. And then Wednesday night, guys, Dimension Zero across all the social medias, 7 p.m. Eastern, 4 p.m. Pacific. We're going to do a couple of hours on Dimension Zero on our weekly Dimension Zero show. And again, tomorrow is, I don't know if there's going to, on Thursday, I'm going to go see the Odyssey. I got confused on last Wednesday's show, but yeah, that's like 3 hours. I'm not sure if there's going to be a Thursday Poperageous show, but tomorrow night and then Wednesday. So this is Dimension Zero. So I will see everyone on Dimension Zero, 7 p.m. on Wednesday. My name is Danny Alex. Everybody, Craig, we'll get to the last ones. Yeah, we'll get to the last ones. What I said about breaking the surface tension of space-time, that was what I was talking about with dish soap and water. Magnetars are crazy. The power output during a quake. Yes, gotcha. And it is, I mean, there's so many things to, this is the thing about sci-fi. As a writer, there's so many things you could take story and then merge it with the mysteries of the universe. There's so many things. But this is, most sci-fi writers have no understanding or passion for science. That's the problem. They don't have a passion. You telling me Starfleet Academy writers love science? Please. Please. Oh my God. Yeah, give me, I mean, that's, no, I don't think Starfleet Academy, we'll see in season 2. Season 2 Starfleet Academy is coming out, so we'll see. Yeah, ladies and gentlemen, my name is Danny Alex. This is Dimension Zero. What was supposed to be a half-hour show turned into almost 2 hours. I knew that was going to happen. I love it, though. We had fun. Guys, I will see you tomorrow night in Poperageous, Wednesday with Dimension Zero. I'm Danny Alex. Have a great evening, guys. Play safe, and we'll see you in a few hours, I guess, right?